Here we go.
Okay, we're live again. Yes, hopefully those that were live with us can find this that we have just posted again. Looks like so far nobody is on. We just had a glitch in the system and we weren't sure what was coming through. So we started a whole new live stream and hopefully you find us if you're listening.
Stuff happens.
It does. So I think we're going to have to start again. um, Hello, Mike. This is Conscious Gatherers and welcome. My name is Beverly Thompson.
I'm AJ Royce.
And this is episode 146 in our season 6. And today's date is May 26th. Try again. This has got me messed up. May 12th, 2025. Not sure where that 26 came from. So just like, okay. I'm on the ethers. Yeah. So hopefully you find us and but we'll try to edit and make this work out. But anyway, we had to start a whole new stream. So I don't know if any of you are going to notice that, but we'll continue and appreciate those that want to watch live. It would be really nice to have you here because we thought this would be a good one for a lot of interaction. But anyway, maybe y'all find us. We were just talking about who we are and why we're here and sharing our insights. And that would be spiritual, everything spirituality and gets into the physicalness of who we are and what we are and why we're in this world at this time. So that's what we're here to share, our insights and our knowledge that we are, that comes to us and what we have learned and shared throughout the years.
Well, I'm going to interject something.
Please do.
The way I see things is that our perception is that we have separated like everything, and so we see the spiritual side of things and the physical side of things as two different things when they're not. It's one cohesive thing. I think when we wrap our heads around that, we'll be able to progress a little bit further and maybe a little faster.
I think we're coming to that realization and really gets into what we're going to be talking about today. Where do you want to start about what we those of you that could hear us and when we started now it's going to be our previous podcast, and that is an insight and some visions that we received the other day, and we were on the phone and just things start coming to us, and so we're talking about what we're seeing, what we're feeling. And so we're going to get a little bit into that. Do you want to start on that or?
No, you start on it.
Okay. I was noticing, since I'm very visual, I was noticing that, our 3D, what we term our physicalness that we're in now, we call it third dimensional 3D, and we're moving up to 5, 6, and 7 dimensions. So a fourth is in there too, and we're getting closer and closer to that 5th, 6th, 7th dimension. A little bit more I'll explain in just a moment. But I was getting a vision, and I drew it out. Now this is extremely crude drawing, but it does show what I was seeing. And it was like, just a second, please hold this up a little bit. It's like the third dimension. Okay, it's right here. Yeah, we're seeing it opposite on the screen from what I was seeing. But anyway, third dimension, and it was like this energy. And it kind of looked like a goblet. And then I could see this energy that went in between the 5th, 6th, and 7th dimensions. And then I noticed on the 7th, on the upper dimensions, and you called in eddies. Eddies. You're like a knob. I said, like knobs on there. What does that mean? So in other words, it's like there's other growths of other. Gosh, can you explain this?
Well, if you look at it in the sense of fluid dynamics,
Go ahead.
like a stream, water in the stream going down, when it comes in contact with something, it creates eddies, which is like smaller versions of what the original was, you know? And then the eddies make eddies. So it's like a way of looking at the creative process.
Expansion of life,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, and the experiences in the other dimensions. Does it make sense? And so what I was noticing that many of us, maybe all of us, in what we term our third dimensional reality, then it goes into the upper, and we go back and forth. I was seeing that, and so, but we don't know it. Well, some people do know it. A lot of we're starting to see it now, and good. Somebody did find us, so thank you for coming back on. Yeah, we had to go live again. Problems with YouTube, but anyway, it's like on the third dimensional reality, and then going to the fifth, sixth, and seventh. And I've noticed that we would pick up ideas, lack of a better word, in the upper dimensions and bring it back to the third. And then as I was seeing this, I've noticed that, and this is just a visual thing, the way to understand this. I just noticed that the different dimensions, if you want to call it in space, time, space, which doesn't really exist as such, but we won't go there yet. But anyways, I noticed it was getting closer and closer and closer. And then it's the merging of the two. In fact, a couple episodes ago, we talked about merging timelines. So, is that in the third dimension, or is that going back and forth to the fifth, sixth, seventh? So explain a little further if you would.
Okay. Bev sees things the way she sees them, and I see them. It'll be looking at the same thing, I believe, but from a different point of view. So hers was like, looked like a barbell.
Yeah.
This is my vision. I have to get it right. It's like one end is this top triangle, had three different levels to it. And then there was this bottom triangle. Their points met. So like this would be like Bev had the lower dimensions and then the higher dimensions, which this is a separated way of looking at it. But what it really was this opened up. So the pivot point where the apexes met, the whole thing opened up, and it was realized as one big thing, which the way I look at dimensions is like that. It's one big thing, but our perception dictates what we see, what we experience. So as our consciousness, as our perception grows and expands, we're able to see a bigger vision of what was actually there the whole time. So we get to see more of what was already there. So that's the way I see it.
So
anyway.
it's just changing our perceptions of reality, and we're seeing, I call it more of reality. So higher dimensional reality.
Yeah. So how could we not be exchanging information between dimensions if it's one big thing? We're just that's what our minds are playing with it and bringing things into our awareness.
Yeah. So this was pretty cool because
Yeah.
just knowing that we traverse. I did get that, which I'll share in just a bit. Through the dimensions and excuse me, and changing our perceptions. But when we change those perceptions, then if we are more into the 3D reality,
Or mindset.
Yeah, our mindset. Yeah. So you feel free to jump in because this is kind of hard, difficult to explain. That we take that into the lower dimensions, and then it brings everything eventually up if you decide you want to go and into the higher dimensions or change perceptions. So I don't know if I said that very well, but anyway, I'm gonna share some of the things that came through. Now, do you want to go further into that?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. Do you have any questions on that?
I could go into that if you wanted.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, there's yet another way of looking at it. I always go back to the dot and the circle. The dot is, if you look at an encapsulation of all there is in one point. When we look at that dot, we open it up and it becomes a circle. And once we realize that circle, then you look at a point on the circle and that becomes another dot. The dot never disappears, it expands. So the dot would go out to the periphery of the circle, but that's the center again. So it would make another circle that encapsulated what came before. And so it's always expanding. We always expand. As far as our perception will let us go. I used to play a game with myself when I was real little. I would see myself as I would just play a mind game with myself. I'd shrink myself as tiny, tiny, tiny as I could make myself till I couldn't hardly find myself, and then I would just go whoosh, just expand myself out as far until I couldn't hardly find myself. And then I would pull it back in until it became an effortless thing, that expansion and contraction. So, that's just one of those little weird things that this little kid used to do.
You should do that in school. You would be bored with what they were talking about.
Yeah, so that was in elementary school. But it was so clear because it's something that is so, it applies to what I'm doing now. We expand, and then we bring what we glean, bring it back to what we're experiencing in that moment, and then we go get some more, and bring it back. So it's that expansion and contraction.
I mean, that's essentially what she's talking about is, taking it from the 3D and then going up into the 5, 6, 7 dimensionals life and bringing it back into the 3D. When we say back, it's even though it's all one, but it's taking that higher. We use the term higher, more expanse.
Yeah, and it's just the vibration of it, the frequency.
Yeah,
that's what's higher.
But it is more expansive.
Yes,
and so we bring that into what we term the 3D. And we use those terms just so we can better understand ourselves.
Yeah, we give ourselves something we can wrap our thoughts around.
Yeah. So, all right. Today, I did get, we talk about each of us having our own unique abilities. And so I kept hearing, row your own boat. Well, that's kind of weird, but and I mentioned it to Roy.
But it applied.
Yes. In other words, row your own boat. You're not in charge of anybody else. Let them. Everybody's in. Yeah. Even though we're all one, everybody's doing their own thing within the one.
Yeah, everybody's got their own boat. We're on the same sea.
There you go. So it's like row your own boat. I thought, okay, so that's definitely a way to tell me that don't get in anybody else's way. This is yours. So, but here's what else I received. A sequence of big events is happening globally as well as in your solar system. Flips, and you will be witnessing some flops, which was kind of fun. That is to be expected as the chaos turns another corner. And I heard the word graphic. And then it says, a witness of seeing into places you haven't seen before. You know, it's showing you a graphic of that, of the third into the fifth, sixth, seventh dimension, and then your graphics. So there you go. A witness of seeing into places you haven't seen before. And so this is a way of explaining it. That's what we did. So this is the outing of material forces. Huh. Wait just a moment. I could make sense out of all of this. When I start reading it back, I was like, wait, what does that say? But they said this is an outing of material forces who are determined to keep the shades pulled. And so, they want to block our perceptions of the expansive state of being.
What do you mean when you say they?
There are certain beings that want to control the earth. That's who I'm thinking, and that try to dumb us down, put it blunt, and we're saying let some people follow it and some don't. Whatever it is. So when I say they, some people call it the deep state, some people call it the cabal, the Anunnaki, the Illuminati. Some of the words that we have used. So it's, however, this is a continuation of my insight. It's not working. Yeah. Again, we say all shall be revealed. You begin a new dance, for the tune is changing into a much more harmonic frequency. You talked about frequency a moment ago. What does this tell you? Okay. It tells us a new time, a new chapter is being orchestrated by you and your galactic friends. New frontiers await you all. Again, we say, let go of your preconceived reality. That's a big one. Let go of your preconceived reality.
Yeah.
What is behind the corner is your new world. The finale of the old world has begun.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my message for today. And I do have more that I want to share with you in just a bit about open manifestation. So a little lengthier, but I'd like for you to share first.
Okay.
Or is that good?
Sure.
All right.
My insight. I'll share with you what I wrote. It was the takeaway from. I've had an ongoing experience, and so I was writing about that experience. Um, uh, but the takeaway from it, what I can share, is this: mankind need only see with eternal eyes the farthest and fullest reaches of what he is to become, to feel the fullness and peacefulness of what he truly is. In other words, see the end of the road, the place where you have completed your own journey, learning all there is to learn in order to surpass what the end of that journey appears to be. So you can do that with your creative imagination if you cannot project yourself into the future. So visualize what the end of your journey here might be. And then um, allow yourself to see it in the biggest and fullest way that it could possibly be, the most, the biggest, the best. And then you will have expanded, surpassed what that vision would have been. So you are creating your future in a much bigger, better way, a fuller way. So you can do this a million times a day if you want to, and just keep making it bigger, better, bigger, better. It's all in what you create. We have that capability. If we do that, not just for ourselves, but for the planet, for the entire cosmos, um, just think of what we could accomplish, what could be done. The sky's not even the limit. So I'm really looking forward to a bigger, brighter, better future, because I know that we can do that. We can make it the best that it could ever be.
It's
And
happening.
then it'll be surpassed. So you just keep on going.
It's hard to imagine because of our preconceived reality, but that preconceived reality, if we let go of those perceptions, old perceptions, then
Drop the limitation.
yeah, yeah. It's not what we've been taught as such, because you
Yeah.
try to put it together with some of the biblical teachings, even though some of it might be there, because to me, it doesn't follow along. Unless you have a little more understanding there than I do. It's like, I don't know how to say that.
Well, what just came to mind was there was someone who came up with, I believe it was called the Bible Code, and they applied that to text and biblical text. And at the end, I don't remember all of the story, but what stuck with me was they came to a place where it said, "But you changed it." So it's like the story doesn't end here. Keep going. It's bigger than that.
Mhm.
So
We're always changing it.
yeah, yeah, I believe so. I believe that.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to share next goes along with all of what we're talking about, which is really total expansion of self. And actually, I I wrote this back in 2015, so 10 years ago, and I'm like,
It doesn't
wow.
seem like it.
Not at all. I mean, it looks like so
Very
much.
applicable.
Yeah, like this is now. Okay, to share. It says, greetings to the world of form. Yeah. We come to invite you to another realm of manifestation. This other world may seem very familiar to you. Excuse me. Excuse me. This other world may seem very familiar to you as you visit it often. That goes right along with that picture I showed you, the 3D and the 5, 6, 7D. Excuse me. Okay. I lost my place here. Okay. And okay, to continue, I found it. And we are talking about the world of worlds, talking about your dot, and then expansion of that dot. Then that becomes the dot. And then it goes on and on and on. It's like, oh, but it's a good way to see it. Okay. This other beautiful world encompasses all other worlds. How can that be? It is spirit of worldly mass that makes this possible. What you may not see as possible is. It is in your frequencies that you may not see or understand what is truly possible, what we've already talked about. And the new worlds are opening to you to step in and allow the higher frequencies of manifestation to appear right before you. Again, you may ask, how can that be? You now have moved to the juncture of open manifestation. By that we mean that all avenues are now open to you. You shall find those avenues most familiar to each and every one of you. However, not all avenues are for each one to traverse. Row your own boat. Reading your mind there. Each of you has your own path of, yeah, of each of you have your own path of your life. To more fully understand this phenomena is to allow the basics of life enter into your being. Be not afraid, for it is the God within that is showing its colors. It is the right of each one of you to be in that space of understanding the uniqueness and possibilities that now exist within the parameters of your new life. Well, it actually says your life. Is it new? Somehow that got added in just now. Do you understand? It is you making those decisions. It is you as God making those decisions. There is but one God before you. Now you can say there is but one God that is you. And this is the all of yous, YOU apostrophe S. You and we are in this all together. God is, it is infinite, it is eternal. A lot to take in there. All right. Before I go on, anything you want to add?
No.
Okay. Open yourselves to all possibilities. You are leaving the old world of the heavy form behind. The heaviness some of you are feeling is the old passing through. Anybody feeling that way? Anybody been tired lately?
Yep.
I'm one. Okay. Many of you pick up on another's vibration. All right. Let it pass through you, for it isn't yours to hold on to. It's a tough one.
It is.
It's their stuff. It's not yours. Yes, we are one, but to continue in the old paradigm of limits will hold all of us back in the old world of form. The more you free yourself of these restrictions, you affect the all of you, therefore the all of us. Trust your feelings and act from this point, holding love in all of those actions. This will get some getting used to, so allow the beautiful flow of life to touch all parts of you. Feel it deeply within, and your outer world will be that much easier to traverse. I think we're all ready for that. Or we're doing it or not. All right. And so it is this day that you contemplate this new journey in your world of form, accessing other worlds of form. Please be advised that you will witness the unfolding in all aspects upon the earth. Be alert within. Stay sober in your foods and drink, as well as in your emotional bodies. Allow the sun, that's SUNSON, which I take that as, well, how do you look at the sun and the sun?
Well, if you look at the diagram of the tree of life, the center Saphira, one of those emanations of light, the center one is referred to as Tifereth. That's the sun, and a being attributed to that is what you would call the Christ, the being of light. And in Christian religion, they see that as Jesus. So referred to as the Son of God. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. You will witness the internal dialogue of understanding. Hear those feelings. Interesting words. Hear those feelings, maybe through words, song, dance, art, and all nature. What is nature? It is those wonderful aspects that enfold your own senses. Feed your bodies and souls. It is your soul shown in multiple forms, for we are one. Trust your intuition. It is shifting into high gear for many of you. Let the tears flow if you must. It is the additional releasing of the old judgments you have endured. Those of you who are um, empathic, you are allowing the thoughts and feelings of others to touch you. Again, let them pass through you. And with the tears, let them fall to be transmuted. Many of you are witnessing much sadness in your world. Can you not see that the last of the heavy density of form is out in full display? Really is now. The house of cards are falling, and let them fall. Your new home is being rebuilt. It is up to each and every one of you to be a part, an integral part of this rebuilding. You are doing this in a whole new way of manifestation. We shall close for now. Beware of those who still try to deceive you. And there are the controllers we talked about earlier. They continue to try, but their efforts are failing. They too are making the change. Be love, my friends. We are your brothers and sisters of the stars. We are family. Namaste. So, it says a lot.
Yeah, it does. While you were talking, I was thinking about how, you said the you can feel what other people are feeling, but let those feelings go through, not to hold on to them as your own. And I was thinking it's an interesting thing when you understand scientifically about the atoms and about how they're uh, mostly space. It's these little components that make up the atom spinning around a center. So it's mostly space. So if you can apply that information to what we are, it's kind of easier to just visualize that energy of someone else just going through us instead of us not holding on to it ourselves. Just let it go through the space between, you know?
It's tough for a lot of empaths, and a lot of people are empathic, and
Well, I am, and I get caught up in that. So with you reading that, it helped me to apply another bit of information to help me to not hold on to it. It helps me to look at it in a more scientific way,
Yeah.
so I can apply that and let it just go right on through.
it gets less personal when you explain it in a more scientific way.
Yeah,
because it obviously doesn't help you, and if you think you're helping another person, you're not.
yeah. You're not helping anything. You're certainly not helping yourself. It drags you down.
Exactly. And it's like, do we want to do that? Because what each one of us do, we affect the whole.
Yep.
And
Where we go one, we go all.
Yeah.
And that's true.
that has been used, in White Squall and also in the Q Post. And it does make sense, when you really look at that up close. It's like, wow, it means a lot. And it's up to you if you want to use it. But it does. Look at it. I mean, there's no wrong to it. If that's a word.
There's no separation between us.
Mhm.
I was thinking about the word that your writing here ended up with, and that was namaste, which translates to the God within me recognizes the God within you. So
Yeah, I haven't used that. I used to use it all the time, but that it does say that, and it does make sense. So
yeah,
you
ties in
recognize
with what
that.
we're talking about.
Yeah, each of you are beautiful beings. And one of my taglines, and I do forget to type it in on our YouTube page, is that we all are very powerful beings.
Yeah.
So get used to it. That's you, all of you listening. Just know how powerful you are. All this, what's in our DNA, and how our bodies are changing, and how the strands are coming more what we call activated. I mean, it's in the mitochondria. There's just a lot of research and development going on that shows just how extremely incredible beings that we are in even the physical sense.
Yeah, so just drop the bull that you were taught before about all the limitations of you can't do this, you can't do that. We heard that growing up all the time. Just drop it. It does not apply to us.
Never did.
Never did.
And you're talking about control mechanisms.
Yeah.
There's one big one right there. So things are changing. We're on our own, you know. We have our leaders, and this and that, but we remember there's no savior outside of yourself. And I know it's hard for a lot of you to comprehend, and that I say it because you're looking outside of yourself, and it says to look internally to that God within. So you said go with God. Does make sense because it is you.
It's permeates.
It's all. There's nothing but. All right. I think we covered quite a bit today. Does anybody have any questions? Any comments? Not yet. All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate your being there. Go ahead.
I do have something to say. A couple of months ago, one of my cousins passed. His name was Johnny. And just yesterday, on Mother's Day, one of my other cousins passed, the same family. And her name was Mary Frances. She was named after my mother. And I got to see them hug on the other side. So that really did my heart good. So it's a wonderful thing to be able to perceive people that you know and love, and even those you don't know, on the other side, and to see the happiness that is there, the freeness, the limitations of sicknesses and stuff being dropped away, So I am so happy that she's free of that body that wasn't serving her anymore, and so I say this to everyone who has lost members of your family, friends, everybody. What a precious thing it is to uh, be here together right now and to appreciate the time that we have together, no matter how long or how brief. And so I just wanted to say how much I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here on this beautiful planet and doing all that you're doing. And I think that's all I have to say.
Well, it brings me up that thinking about recognizing another for who they are, and even expressing that you appreciate them being here.
Yeah.
And one of my friends, Nance, has said many times, and I was witness to this the other day. I think she said to this gal that was waiting on us, it was at a dress shop, and she says, "Well, thank you for being here." And and she says it. Sometimes she gets one of these, like, and I was watching this gal as she said it, just a big smile. And I usually say, "Nobody's ever said that to me."
Yeah.
But it makes them feel so good. And wanted and needed, and all of these appreciate is really the word it's the best word to bring up. So it's really nice to do that and to recognize another for who and what they are. And they come into your life, and it may be just for a few minutes, but they're appreciated for who they are. So, all right, thank you very much, and we appreciate your coming. We're here a day early, and I'm taking off tomorrow up to Pennsylvania. So anyway, we'll be back in 2 weeks from Tuesday, and with more insights to share, and we'll see what happens between then and now. But I think we're talking about the heaviness of our being, and it's getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And it's like all this stuff is going on, and I think it's all that's going to drop, and we're going to start feeling, physically feeling it.
Yeah, use your consciousness to transcend any limitations.
Mhm.
Make it the biggest and the best.
Yep. Biggest and best. All right. Thank you again. We love you all.
Love you.
Please share. And of course, we love the likes too. And
Yeah.
any comments that you may have, write them down. So we appreciate you sharing those, the ones that do. So thank you. And again, blessings to all.
Blessings.
Bye bye.
Bye.